well deserved, and you know, hopefully we'll have a lot of fun this year together. It's first of many, but yeah, you look at the last week of spring training, you get to the end, and you kind of have a few battles. The fifth spot for this Braves rotation is it? You have two lefties going at it, Jared Schuster and Dylan Dodd, and I think the big thing is going to be both these guys have great strikeout to walk ratios. So really, it's going to come down to, you know, the last couple starts here, and for Jared today, he's going to get a good opportunity against a powerful Mets lineup. They bought the crew over, so it should be a good opportunity for him to maybe solidify that fifth spot.
Yeah, you're going to know the names in the lineups today on both sides, Mets and Braves. This is going to be a lot of fun. As I said, just 1 week away from opening day. March 23rd in Florida with baseball. That's great. March 23rd in Florida with Braves baseball. Even better. Mets, Braves, coming up. Don't move a muscle. Here to Braves spring training presented by Destin Fort Walton Beach. 82 degrees, just a couple of clouds overhead. It's just beautiful. Cool today, part New York Mets, Atlanta Braves. Now, new rules in baseball, right? There's a lot to talk about. Think of this as four big pockets, if you will. First, the pitch clock, obviously. That's going to get a lot of discussion. Well, and a false start right off the bat here. So Jared Schuster was ready to go.
They got to close the door.
Yeah, they haven't closed
to
out.
Start the game.
In right center field, the gate is wide open. In my first game, you couldn't even make sure the gate was closed.
You
Joe?
know,
Jeez.
Well, I was trying to give you time to talk about the new rules, so I wanted to delay it.
But we will talk a lot about that. The pitch clock, obviously, the most notable change. The bases are a little bit bigger. The disengagements, how often a pitcher can step off and throw to the bases, that has changed. And we will get into all that as we continue to roll on. But we get our first look here at Jared Schuster. And first pitch swinging, Escobar. High, lazy fly. Acuna battling the sun. One away. Jared Schuster, again, one of the guys, Jeff, battling for the fifth spot in the Braves rotation.
Yeah, look, coming into spring, everybody was talking Ian Anderson, Bryce Elder, who would get it, and really, Schuster and Dodd have kind of taken over. And here they are the last week of camp. He's got a really good changeup. Again, one thing that Brian Snitker loves about both these guys, not just Schuster, but Dodd, they throw strikes, throw the ball over the plate.
Starling Marte is who he'll face now. You talked about the changeup, good fastball. And they say that for Schuster, the slider has really started to come on since the end of last season as well. You'll see that in the mix.
Well, I think that's the thing. You get that pitch, now right-handed hitters have to worry about the inside part of the plate. Sets up that changeup away, which has really helped him improve.
That one missing outside, so you see the clock at the bottom right hand of your screen. 15 seconds without runners on base. That's how long these pitchers have to get going. But now that there's been so many spring games, Jeff, it seems like most of these guys have really gotten in tune with this.
You can tell he's in a groove right now. Getting it back, throwing.
Line drive. Diving stop. Austin Riley, 2 away.
It also helps when you have an infield defense like the Atlanta Braves have, and there's Austin Riley. Great play right off the bat. Ball's off the end of the bat here a little bit on this changeup, but Austin, great dive. Shows it to the ump, 2 outs.
And we talked about it as Lindor digs in, but both of these lineups, I mean, there's a lot of guys you're going to be seeing on opening day here for both the Mets and the Braves. 0-2, got a little piece of Travis d'Arnaud back behind home.
And there's that good changeup, and you saw it kind of got him leaning out a little bit.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Again, Escobar, Marte, Lindor, Alonso. There's a lot of guys that you know already, and a couple guys in there that are coming up that the Mets have high hopes for. Down and away, and Lindor able to stay off 1-2. How long do you think on a day like today we can expect to see Jared Schuster?
Yeah, you know, 80, 85 pitches, 5-6 innings. You know, they're getting to the point now, Brandon, that, I mean, there's one more start in between here and opening and their first start of the season, and you usually want to cut back on that last one just so you're extra fresh and ready to go for that first start.
This one popped up, but it'll reach the seats. Well, Schuster and Dodd, as Jeff was telling you, they've both been great so far in spring. For Schuster, over 12 2/3, only giving up 1 run. ERA is under 1. He's just been spectacular. Down and in, they'll appeal. He did not go 2-2.
There's that good breaking ball you're talking about. You get him thinking outside with that fastball, change up, and you come back foot. Almost got a good hitter swing.
2-2 out to left center. Harris is over, no problem, and a very tidy 1-2-3. Top of the first. Braves coming up. The home half of the first. Braves coming up. Let's get a look at the lineup presented by your local Toyota dealers. Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Ozuna. I mean, look at it. It's pretty much like the big league lineup.
It's what you expect to see a week before opening day now. Everybody's back from the WBC. You know, that's why you're seeing Alonso, Lindor, a lot of those guys on the road today because they were playing in the WBC.
As was Ronald Acuna. His Venezuelan team lost in the Saturday semis in Miami, and he takes one up and in. Now this hurler for the Mets, Nym Vs Atl, has not pitched in the majors. Only made it to high A last year. This will be his second season of professional baseball. And he misses upstairs quickly. 2-0 to Acuna. Buck Showalter, second season back at the helm of the Mets squad.
I thought Buck said it best. I was listening to him a couple weeks ago, and yeah, they added payroll, they got more guys, so did Philly, but ultimately, the Braves are sitting here 5 division titles in a row, and that's what he said. Until someone knocks them off, they're the kings of the East.
Of course, what a battle it was last year with the Braves winning their 5th straight. That one drops in there. For Acuna, though, one of those guys who played in the WBC, it's just his 6 games. Only had 14 at bats so far here with the Braves this spring.
But meaningful at bats away from it. And I've said that. It's different for pitcher position players. I'd love if my position player went and played in a World Baseball Classic. Competitive ABs.
A lot of those guys were saying it felt like a World Series atmosphere. Acuna to right center. Marte there. All right, time for our 4 keys to the game. What do you have, Jeff?
Look, for Schuster, it's a good opportunity. As we said, he's in a battle here, and you're facing a lineup that you will see during the regular season. It's one thing when you throw 2 weeks ago, he's facing a good offensive lineup. And for the position players, now you're 1 week away. It's time to start getting yourself ready, because at exactly this time, and 1 week from today, we'll be in Washington for the opener.
That is exactly right. And then off to St. Louis. First 2 trips of the regular season. And if you're a player at this point, Jeff, I mean, you remember this. Are you just antsy at this point, saying, come on, give me to opening day?
Yeah, you're ready to go now. A lot of these guys have had plenty of ABs, time down here. It's actually almost kind of funny, because every once in a while, the last few games in spring, you'd hit a home run, you'd be like, gosh, you kind of want to save it for the season.
Well, this guy has just been unbelievable. I mean, 6 homers, 13 driven in. But there, Olson going down on strikes.
Third baseman number 27, Austin Hurd.
Pretty good opportunity for a guy like Vs Atl, though, to face this Braves lineup.
Yeah, you're coming over. You got the big league defense behind you, big league catcher.
So Acuna and Olson down. Austin Riley now. Coming off his all-star campaign, takes it away 1-0.
That was a big thing for Austin last year. Was he had that huge year. I think the question, could he back it up and do it again? And he did in a big way.
He's had a couple homers, 5 ribbies so far this spring, and there's a solid knock the other way. Our first hit of the ball game belongs to Austin Riley.
And you just love when you watch Austin like this, how mature he's become as a hitter. Gets a hanging breaking ball. Watch this, stays in nice and just throws the bat head and drives it to right field. I mean, that's a guy that he has finally realized he can hit it out anywhere in the park at any time. And he's going line to line, and what's turned him into an all-star.
And signing that nice 10-year, $212 million contract.
that doesn't hurt either.
And now Marcell Ozuna, designated hitter. A lot of folks curious about Ozuna, but he's had a solid spring.
He has. Snit has been real. He talked to us about it in depth that, he has had a great spring. This is a good opportunity for him. He's going to start the year as a DH. And here's your chance to get back to where you were in 2020 when you had that monster year.
Down 0-2. Weekly to right center. Very quick first inning. The single by Riley, that's it, but he's left on board, and we march on to the second.
here to North Court in the second. Jared Schuster, of course, one of those competing for that 5th spot in the rotation. A great test here this afternoon as the Mets, as you heard Frenchie mention, bringing over their A squad, going up against Pete Alonso here to lead off the inning. And this is what Brian Snitker said it's all about. I can't wait, he said, to see this guy compete this afternoon, navigate it against a lineup that we're going to see during the regular season. And when he's talking about Schuster and Dodd, not only filling up the strike zone, Frenchie, to your point about throwing strikes, but also their presence on the mound has really impressed him. And watching how quickly this guy works here this afternoon, now I get it, right? Now we get it. We just see our eyes on it here in person. It's impressive.
Yeah, the 15-second pitch clock does not phase him.
No. Well, and I will tell you this, you know, to what Kelly's talking about, if your defense, you know, I sat in the outfield for a long time. There are 3 innings sometimes of no action. When you're sitting there, if you got a guy in a nice rhythm throwing, even if you've given up a few hits, you're on your feet. You're going to play good defense.
Of course, a tough out here, and the cleanup man, Pete Alonso, who played in the World Baseball Classic, takes that at the knees. For Schuster, you know, that 5th spot in the rotation, so many people had eyes on Ian Anderson, Bryce Elder, but those guys optioned to AAA, and now it's Schuster or Dodd who seem to be in line for that spot. Two on the ground. Arcia across, 1 away. Time for our Georgia Natural Gas impact player. And it is Jared Schuster.
Hey, look, last year between AA and AAA, did solid ERA, just under 140 innings. And he said he showed me something there. 2-0 on Alonso, threw a good changeup, come back with a fastball, and then got him to roll over on an inside fastball.
First round pick back in 2020. And Mark Canha now the batter, 1-0.
These are the guys right here, Alonso, Canha, to me, that this new pitch clock will really affect. Guys that, you know, they spend a lot of time getting a routine, getting out of the box, and now, you know, they're on their 3rd pitch here, 25 seconds.
Yeah, we talk so much about how this is going to impact pitchers, as that one gets a little piece of Darno. You think guys like this and others will be impacted as batters as well?
Well, I think what it's going to do, too, to some of these hitters is, I mean, I hate to say it, you're going to panic a little bit. You might not be ready, or you swing at a pitch that normally you don't because you have had time to think about what they're going to throw to you.
1-2, 2-2.
I will tell you this, Brandon, you're going to have a game plan when you go up there. And it's not, you're not going to have, we talk about mid in at bat adjustments. It's going to be tough just because of how, you know, you do have one timeout. So I'm shocked you don't see guys use that more.
I think guys obviously are going to be feeling it out, but now you look at the numbers from when they implemented these rules in the minor leagues compared to how they've done it now in the first few weeks of spring training, and it's really pretty similar how the guys have been impacted.
I haven't heard too many guys complain either.
Swing and a miss. Good by Mark Canha, 2 away. And 5 up, 5 down for Schuster.
Yeah, this was a great pitch. See that breaking ball. Kind of back foot. He didn't quite get that one way inside, but still was able to keep it down and get the strikeout.
Darren Ruff with 2 out, nobody on. But the games, on average, 25 minutes shorter. That was the same as when they changed it in minor league baseball, and they expect that to roll into the regular season. So I think if you're in the MLB front office right now, you're pretty pleased.
Well, you got what you wanted. I think one of the adjustments that the only complaint I've heard from a lot of the players is the 8th, 9th inning of a closer game. There's got to be some leeway, and I think you might see that change.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that at the end of the World Baseball Classic. There's the first blemish of Schuster's afternoon. That one is laced to the left center field gap. And Ruff will have a 2-out double. But what we were talking about with that World Baseball Classic, Jeff, is you had the ending there, the dream inning of Ohtani and Trout, and the average between those pitches in that at bat was about 25 seconds. And you wonder if in a big moment in the playoffs, if that pitch clock's going to have to be a problem.
Well, I agree, because I think everybody loved whether that at bat was 30 seconds or 2.5 minutes. People wanted to see it. And if you had the pitch clock rules, that would have been undone in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's the drama that builds in those bigger moments, that's for sure. That's a strike at the knees to Tommy Pham.
Yeah, so that's why I think you possibly see that change late innings, depending what's going on. 9-run game in the 8th inning, throw the ball.
Pham 0-2, a guy who was brought in to be the Mets' 4th outfielder. That's what they're hoping for. That was kind of an area of need for them last year. And Schuster quickly ahead of him.
Yeah, he was kind of their late sign. They did a lot of shopping early this offseason, and then got 1 year 6 sometime in late January, early February, kind of to complete that roster.
They had quite the offseason spend, just shy of $500 million on 10 free agents for the Mets. Swing and a miss. Down goes Pham. 2 strikeouts at the top of the 2nd for Jared Schuster. Home half of the 2nd. Reigning National League Rookie of the Year, Michael Harris II digs in.
I'll tell you what, Brandon, we knew this kid would be good last year. I didn't know offensively he was going to take the stage like he did and run with it.
The scary thing is that one of the early media scrums in the spring, they were saying, can you duplicate it? And he said, I got to tell you, I think I can be a lot better in year 2.
I know this. We were here yesterday watching him hit PP, and he was right-handed hitting home runs. That's not fair.
And you could tell some of the vets around that were watching him hit, they were just kind of in awe of what he can do.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of the guys that play golf are saying he's kind of taken up golf, and it's amazing how good he's gotten in a quick, short period of time.
I will say Kelly did beat him in bowling.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Kelly's bowling skills.
Well, your dad and mom own a bowling alley growing up in Indiana.
But still, I mean, Michael Harris, he can do a lot of good things.
Yeah, he can.
Frenchie, you still got to put in that work, no matter what you're provided by your parents.
Yep, I agree. You got to get to the lane. You got to get to the lane.
Bassel deals, and that one is skied into the Florida sunshine. Mendick with the shades on. First out, bottom of the 2nd. No, he dropped. They're going to say it was on the exchange, though. He is out.
The second baseman, number 1,
Did he have it? Yeah, no question.
Good catch. I'd looked away.
Well, I'm 5'10". This seat, I need a booster chair up here. I can barely see home plate. I'm on my tippy toes trying to call this one. I got to tell you, by the way, my first game, hour before first pitch, and you get burgers and fries brought up here for us. I don't know if that's going to continue, but
well, I think our crew has kind of told you one thing you're going to have. You're going to have food.
Yes. I saw that last night and today. That burger was faster than the pitch clock.
Yes.
That was something. Ozzie Albies.
No, it was good getting the whole crew together last night. You get to meet everybody and good dinner. We said we got a great crew here. They work hard.
Yeah, they had the set day yesterday, getting this one ready for you. We've got 4 of these games to finish out the final week of spring before we get everything started a week from now up in D.C. against the Nationals.
Yeah, while me and you were at the Tiki Bar having a drink, they were still working on set.
That's right. Yep.
So, show you how hard they work.
3 balls and a strike. And now a full count to Ozzie. 3 homers, 11 driven in so far this spring for him. He only missed the first week, but he had that kind of cleanup of loose particles in his shoulder. He had that at the end of last season, so he was a little rusty to begin, but he's coming into form. Skied out to left center. And 2 away as Canna takes it.
I think, look, anytime you come and you have that done, you're a little tentative at first throwing. Kind of reminds me, not to that extent, but Ronald last year with his ACL. You could always see there was that worry in the back of his mind. That's one reason I loved him, Ronald, playing in the WBC. You saw him back to what I saw in 2019 when he was just wide open. I think he's going to have a huge year. I really do.
And now this guy, Travis d'Arnaud, he gets to platoon with another great catcher in Sean Murphy. Obviously, Murphy not in the lineup, d'Arnaud is. But, boy, what a tandem that is behind the plate.
Oh, both guys are good offensively, defensively. Everybody loves throwing to them. And I just think you're gonna save both these guys' legs by having 2 guys. You know, you see the JT Realmutos, guys like that. Don't get me wrong, they're outstanding. But, you know, you wonder the wear and tear as the season goes. Both these guys are going to hit September, and they should be pretty fresh.
Line drive, and that gets by Lindor. Solid single to left center for the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud.
Yeah, good job by Travis staying back. Curveball that kind of backed up the inner half part of the plate. He just drops the bat head on it.
I know some Braves fans have asked, well, who's going to be the main guy? And I just don't know that that's your concern right now. Just be thankful that you've got 2 high-level catchers.
I think you'll see Murphy catch a little more than d'Arnaud, but d'Arnaud's going to get his fair share. And I think depending on the matchup, you could see Murphy even DH some.
Now Rosario.
This is the guy that I think there was obviously a lot of question marks because of the eye surgery he had last year. He never really could get going, and he had a great World Baseball Classic for Puerto Rico, and I think it kind of quieted a lot of people down.
And he returned to the field Monday after Puerto Rico was eliminated. But yeah, I mean, the eye issues last year, over 2 months on the IL, recovering from that laser eye surgery.
And he spent maybe 3 games in the minors getting ready, so he just never had time to really get comfortable.
1-1. And look at the bat flying out there. Almost reached Alonso at first base. Did you ever in spring training, Jeff, experiment with different bats?
Yeah, I would a lot of the time, but most of these guys kind of know what they want. I usually say to people that experiment, it's more weight than it is type of bats. I want a heavier bat, more on the barrel.
There's so much science behind it now. It's unbelievable. These guys go to these
data.
Yeah, these guys go in the off season to those batting labs and get everything tested and measured.
Yeah, our good friend Kelly Johnson here, a longtime Brave teammate of mine, is doing some radio, and we were talking with Austin Riley down there. He's showing us the technology just during BP of them filming where they can break down the launch angle. It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, there was none of that. Even 6-7 years ago, that for the most part did not exist.
It shows how old you are, right?
A little bit older.
You're creeping up on 40. I got you by a couple weeks. I got you. 1-2 to Rosario. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Vassell. So that'll do it for the Braves in the bottom of the second. Scoreless onto the third. Another division title last year for the Braves, 22nd in franchise history, and the man who's led them to the last 5 is our Georgia Drive Chevy interview. Pleased to be joined by Brian Snitker from downstairs. You know, Snit, first time we've had a chance to talk to you this spring. Just in general, what you've thought of the pace of play and the rule changes that have come into the game.
I love it. I love the clock. It's working. The guys are all bought in. You know, the really long. You know, some of these games can get long when we play them quick in spring training, but you know what? It's definitely going to help during the year.
And this hurler on the mound for you, Jared Schuster, a lot of eyes on the 5th spot in the rotation, and he and Dylan Dodd. Where do you think you're at right now in that process, and what do you see in this lefty?
It's a toss-up right now, I think. I mean, they're both very similar. I mean, they do this. They work quick. They throw strikes. They can change speeds. They both have been unbelievably impressive over the spring. It's exciting that we have young players from our system that are coming to camp and doing this. So, you know what? We're going to need a bunch of them before the year's over.
As that one misses upstairs, and a walk issued to Minden.
You know, Snit, you talked about a bunch of different guys, and they've had good camps, but 2 guys that you point out to me, Ozuna and Rosario, that you have really been impressed with this camp. What have you loved about that?
Well, it's just, you know what, I'll tell you, I think the best thing that happened to Eddie was going to WBC and playing those games that mattered. And you know, we all of a sudden we're seeing the bat-to-ball skills that he has, and it's been really good. Marcel's came to camp in great shape. He's been working really hard, and I know he wants to show people that last year was. It doesn't ever happen. If you put me on this thing when we're on defense, I'm going to see a homer or something. I'm telling you. But no, it's. You know what? We really like where both of them are right now, and if we can get both of those guys back to what they're capable of doing, I mean, it could be really, really good. And I don't think we've got Nitto out in 3 years.
He just doubled over the head of Harris. Yeah. Runners at second and third. Hey, that WBC, though, and you're kind of hitting on it there, but it seemed like people are really starting to rally behind that. And I was curious from a manager's perspective what you thought, but it sounds like you're saying you like when your guys are getting meaningful at bats.
Well, yeah, meaningful at bats. I'm not sure I'm going to be real thrilled with meaningful innings that quick, but no, I mean, I was watching them. We were all watching them. I think it worked this year. It was exciting. There was a lot of fun talking to all the guys that participated. When they got back, they all had a ball. They said it was awesome. It was a great time. I think the venues they played in, the excitement, the energy, I mean, they all had fun doing it.
Top of the lineup here at Escobar in the top of the third.
You know, we talk about the battle for this 5th spot, but how nice is it for you coming back knowing you got Fried, Morton, Strider, and Kyle Wright?
No, it's great. It's great. And, you know, it's, you know, the big thing last year, I think when Spencer became the 5th starter, it kind of legitimized us a little bit. It gave us those 5 starters. You still even if you have that, you still end up using a bunch of guys. But, you know, these two kids that have come up, the young guys have done really well. Bryce Elder's been throwing the ball decent in the minor leagues. Ian threw the ball good today. Like I say, it's getting Soroka back and on track again. It could, we're going to need all those guys.
This one out to right, and coming over and grabbing it, Acuna. Tagging at third, Mendick. That went by Darno. And we might have even gotten an FCC violation on the air right there as well. So that's okay. Line might, Snit. Line might. Yeah, he had him.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. If he caught that ball, he's out.
Yeah, speaking of catchers, Snit, you look at, Travis d'Arnaud, Murphy. Is it one of those things for them? You got two really A-plus catchers. You just kind of match up and make sure both are fresh.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I mean, keeping guys, when you have two quality guys like that, keeping them strong and not wearing one guy out. I think it's going to be fine. We'll see. Things have a way of working themselves out. And there always seems to be enough playing time for everybody. So, we'll just start the season and hopefully they both can be very productive players for us.
Another sac fly, 2-0 Mets. This time of spring, are you just kind of chomping at the bit? You've been down here a long time. I'm sure the walks on the beach have been good when you got them, but you're ready to play some baseball?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like spring training. I mean, I enjoy every minute of it. I tell the guys in the first meeting, it's probably too long, but you need it all. As we're going to see still, you need it all for the pitching. It's spring training's for the pitching, not the position players. So I know guys are probably tired of doing mass ground balls and all that stuff and fundamentals. But you know what? We've enjoyed it all. It's been a great camp. My hat's off to all the players, how they came in, the great shape, the energy they've done, how they do their work. It's a really fun group to be around, I'll tell you.
Well, and it doesn't hurt when you've got so many guys tied up in long-term deals and all the talent on this roster. With it, we talk about the couple of question marks, but man, you've got it built for the long haul, and we appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, guys. My pleasure. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks, man.
Okay. From Brian Snitker. Mets get a couple in the top of the third. Home half with the Braves. 9-1-2 due up. And we're pleased to be joined by Michael Soroka from the dugout. Well, Michael, spring debut yesterday against the Tigers, 36 pitches, and obviously Braves fans very curious to hear how you're feeling, how yesterday went. Just where are you right now in the process?
Yeah, things are feeling good. Thanks for having me on first, but yeah, it was good to get back out there and kind of feel a little bit of adrenaline and see it pretty close to a big league lineup and what they're going to put out there this year. So that was fun. Today feel good. Ready to kind of look forward to what's next. We got a conversation that we got to have, and I think that'll all get ironed out, and those details will be available pretty soon.
So 35 pitches yesterday as Arcia takes a weak swing and a miss. And maybe you're hitting on that right there, but the next step, is that still to be determined for you at this point?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think we had talked initially about one of those last two games at the end of camp, but you know, obviously innings are hard to come by right now with Chuck kind of being on the same schedule, and he's got to get his 6-7 innings in now. So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about when I'm throwing a bullpen and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, that'll be an ongoing conversation today, and probably be kind of decided later then.
Mike, anything you've had to kind of change a little bit with the Achilles and the way you land, or kind of redo things a little bit? But I mean, you still had the velocity going yesterday that we're used to seeing. Yeah,
I've changed a lot of things actually, and still kind of in the process a little bit of it. And most of it's the way I take my weight down the mound. To be honest with you, a lot of it got a little unathletic throughout the years. Got a little force, little muscle bound, and just trying to get back to being an athlete is the premise of it. But yeah, a lot of things that are going to be a little different, but as far as stuff and competitiveness goes, it should be the same, if not better.
I know it's been tough the last couple of years, having to be in the training room, going through what you've had to go through. Has it been kind of nice to be out here with the guys and feel like you're getting back into a routine?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the nicest part about we call it getting out of daycare, getting out of rehab. So you get back with the crew, even taking PFPs and all that kind of stuff. It's real nice.
Off the glove of Lindor, RC is aboard to start off the bottom of the third for the Braves. By the way, you notice, Michael, that I called you Michael. Jeff called you Mike. The world needs to know, what do you want to be called?
No, you know what? I didn't realize it was going to be such a ordeal. I guess it was. You know, my mom always said, you know, your name is Michael, and parents and everybody called me Michael, close to family. So that's kind of always how it was, and for some reason, kind of started going with Mike. With baseball, and it kind of stuck for a little bit. But I know more than a few people around here kind of asking me, when are you going to make that decision to go back? And they asked me this winter if I wanted to do it and get it officially on contracts and you know, nameplates and all that kind of stuff. So I said, sure, let's go. And yeah, then it kind of blew up a little bit.
But what are your teammates calling you? Are they still calling you Mike?
Honestly, nobody calls me by first name. There's a couple that call me Michael now on purpose. Yeah. You know, I call Michael Harris Michael, and Tonkin. It's kind of our thing. But yeah, most people are Soroka or Rock, whatever they say. It's always last name.
0-2 here to Ronald Acuna, who flew out back in the first, and a weak swing he couldn't hold up. One away. So, you know, when guys are coming back from an injury like you did, no matter the sport, I always hear them talk about it's like you're walking before you're crawling, and you start to get more confidence. With every pitch, with every bounce off the mound to field the ball and throw to first, do you start to feel more confident out there?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the best pitches I threw yesterday were arguably the most loose, and, you know, perceived effort was down, actually, along some of the hardest pitches, some of the best sliders. Just kind of let it happen and trust it a little bit. I think that's the hardest part, is getting back to that point where that's your mindset every single pitch and not trying to do too much. But yeah, it's a bit of a process, and we're going to make sure we get what we can in to make and give me the best chance to be able to repeat that. And that way, when we're back, we never look back, you know.
Michael Soroka joining us here with 1 out, 1 on in the bottom of the third. And, you know, the mental side of it is one thing. The physical side of it is another. And you were talking about your weight falling forward off of the mound. I was wondering if you could go back and expound on that, maybe for the folks at home. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to get back to with your mechanics?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's ironic, because I think it's some things that we all do a little bit better when we're a little younger, because, you know, we figure out the best way to move and the most athletic way to throw a pitch as hard as you can. You know, and over the years, things creep in as far as, you know, what I'm trying to do with certain pitches, certain sliders, trying to command the ball a little differently, and you start to try and make things happen, and you kind of get out of the athleticism of it. So working with biomechanists that I saw last year, Bob Kai's, kind of put a lot of things into perspective for me, that, you know, I basically wasn't eating my weight down the hill.
Well, hang on, because Matt Olson just did it again.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, my goodness. His 7th homer of the spring. That is ridiculous. And we're tied at 2.
He's going to get the famous MVP of spring training.
I didn't even see the swing there. I heard it, though. I knew it was out.
Yeah, you knew it was loud.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I thought, again, this, you know, for him, another year of normal spring training. He's not flying from Arizona here like he did. He seems more comfortable, and look, he had a lot of pressure on him last year, and I feel like even talking to him, he is so much more relaxed, and I think it's showing right now.
I mean, Michael, have you felt that about Matt Olson?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, last year, obviously, he had a lot of expectations that I'm sure he wanted to live up to, and, everything surrounding the whole trade, the whole Freddie situation as well. I mean, it was big shoes to fill, and, he's stepped in really well, and now I think, like you said, he gets to relax and go out there and have fun and play baseball, and I think we're seeing the results of that.
Partner, we hope we see you doing that real soon as well. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you guys so much for having me. That was a pleasure.
Thanks, Michael.
Michael, the artist formerly known as Mike. Michael Soroka, kind enough to join us. Certainly all of Braves country hoping to see him back on the mound on a regular basis as soon as possible, but this is such a tough injury to get back from as Riley ropes one to right for a single.
Now another beautiful piece of hitting for Austin. First time up that curveball, he drove to right field. This time gets a fastball and just stays inside. That's the difference. Austin is never in a hurry anymore. He's so relaxed. Another beautiful swing. I think the good thing for Michael is you look ahead for this year. The Braves have some depth at the starting pitching level, and you can allow him to get right, as you want to say. The most important thing for him is let's pitch 5 days, have a break, pitch 5 days later, and he needs to do that and get back in the routine, because no one doubts the stuff. Smith's talked about it before. I mean, he's going to be back at some point, but you want it when he comes back that he doesn't have to continue to shuffle.
It's a twice torn Achilles. It's hard enough to come back from that once. And then the left hamstring issue that's limited him here early in spring training in 2023. So now you've got Riley down at first, tie ball game, and Ozuna the batter. And he stays off that offering from Vassell. But how about Matt Olson? I mean, 7 home runs in 33 at-bats this spring.
Yeah, he was saying, I know I'm going well when my dad texted me and said, hey, you need to slow it down a little bit.
Save some of that?
Yeah.
This one popped back over our heads, 2-1.
But I think, for last year, like you said, it was a whirlwind. He was in Arizona spring training, flies straight here, doesn't even go home to Atlanta. Comes home, a lot of pressure, obviously, replacing Freddie Freeman. And, you can tell to me he's a lot more relaxed this spring, knows all the guys, knows, everything that's going on.
I think off the field, too, he handled this taking over for Freddie Freeman about as well as you possibly could have.
100%.
Every interview, it was all with respect and just so well done.
Yeah, look, Matt grew up in Atlanta, so, he knew about Freddie, knows how, everything behind it, but I think he's very comfortable in who he is.
Ozuna, boy, that's hard hit. Right back where it came from. So a 2-run homer by Olson, and then singles by Riley and Ozuna, and the Braves in business here at the bottom of the third.
Yeah, the second time around, you can see their timing not pretty good, putting some good swings on it. That ball just stayed up in the zone. That was quick right there.
Well, again, they're facing a guy in Mike Vassell who's only played a year in professional ball down at the single-A level. So they haven't seen him, but now that they have, it's different, right?
Go to work.
Yeah, yeah.
See the break, see a little bit of that, your first AB, and second AB, you've timed them.
Michael Harris, 0 for 1. And fouled off. When you're watching him as a hitter for the first time, you've never seen this guy, aside from the timing, a little more peel back the curtain, what are you looking for the first couple times you face him?
You mean as a hitter?
Yes,
what are you looking
as a hitter. Yeah.
Velocity, because it's like anything. You might, on a gun, say a guy throws 94, but you get guys coming back to the dugout say, man, it plays 96, 97. It's a little, gets on you quicker. So those are the things. Most of the time you share when you go back to the dugout, more break on the slider than we thought. But spring's tough because it's not like you're watching film with this guy. A regular season, you're going to have film going all day, have a game plan.
1-1 to Michael Harris with 2 on. Ground ball, could be 2. Lindor does it himself. And that will retire the side. But Braves even things up. Matt Olson, 2-run bomb. We're all square. Atlanta Braves baseball on Valley Sports is presented by Destin Fort Walton Beach. It's just gorgeous here today. Gorgeous here most days in March. 82 degrees. Great crowd at Cool Today Park. Brandon Gaudin and Jeff Francoeur with you as we go on to the top of the fourth. 2-2 ball game. Schuster still out there. Bouncer to Riley. Long throw, but Pete Alonso not exactly just gunning it down the line, and he's retired.
he knows his speed.
And he knows it's March 23rd.
Yep.
And he knows he's going to be in the lineup opening day either way.
I think he's going to make the team.
I think he's going to be okay. He's 0 for 2. Well, what have you thought so far of Schuster?
I've been impressed. I've been impressed with his ability to keep the ball down. You know, I'm a little bit old school in that fact. I like pitchers to keep the ball down. I believe you can't get hurt as much. And for him, with a good changeup, back foot slider, the more you live down, and you get ground balls. And again, like I said, the way he works. You know, Snip was telling us right before he came on that this is how he works. And I said, as a defensive guy, you love it. Love the rhythm.
Facing Mark Canha here, who he struck out in the second. You kind of hit on it earlier, Jeff, but for Schuster and a lot of these guys that are younger, first normal spring. He's drafted in 2020 in the first round. You know what happens in 2020. Then post-COVID spring training in 2021, the lockout in 2022, and it just kind of, everything was not normal, and now he finally has a normal spring under his belt. This one is clocked to right to the track, and Acuna has it for the out.
I think we always wondered that one COVID year, you know, if there'd be some people to develop later, and I think you're seeing that a little bit. Maybe some of these pitchers that didn't get the amount of work that you'd wanted to that year. You know, they had those little camps or whatever where people, but it's still not live. You're throwing to your own team. So a couple guys that I think have developed. Braves done a good job developing them and getting them ready for this moment.
Facing Darren Ruff now. Ruff doubled in the second. That was pitch 50, so 51 here, and just a little below the knees. Falling behind 3-0. And he finds the zone. What an opportunity, though, for Schuster and Dylan Dodd to try to possibly settle in, at least to start the season, the 5th spot in the Braves rotation. Missing there. 1 on with 2 out. Well, fans stream 250+ spring training games at every out-of-market game, live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. But you said a good thing to Snit about, look, this Braves rotation is phenomenal.
Yeah,
so regardless of what happens in the 5th spot, to know what you've got 1 through 4 is so nice.
Well, now we say you need 6-7 guys to get you through a year anyways. You know, give guys a break. Guy go down with 10, 12 days.
To the left side, there's Riley again. That'll do it as Jared Schuster works around a 2-out walk.
Recycle.
We got Austin Riley here. Something to say here with the hot mic? Hot mic. Morning mic here in the building. Anything to say?
Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a great day to beat the Mets. So.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, Austin, I give you a Rolex for your number.
You give me a what?
Rolex.
Rolex for my number?
Yes, number 1. I want to be number 1.
We'll see.
Adrianza having some fun out there, right?
Yeah, you know, it's more. I've heard him talk more there than I have in a couple of years, but he had great humor. You know, wants to get a Rolex. I don't know that. Ozzy might say, I'm keeping my number and I'll buy a Rolex.
I was going to say, I think he can afford one.
He'll be right.
Yeah. Eliezer Hernandez taking over. Vassell went 3, gave up the 2-run homer to Olsen. And a pitching change here in the 4th for the Mets. Actually, the Mets, Jeff McNeil, gave number 6 to Starling Marte last year, and Jeff McNeil now wears number 1, and the exchange for that was a Rolex watch. So the Mets have experience with that.
Kind of set the price where it's at, and now everybody has to
Everybody does that, right? First pitch, hard hit, but Alonso's right there. And Ozzy is retired. I don't know, did you have any crazy exchanges like that when you were playing?
I didn't. No, I never. I would have taken a Rolex and given someone my number, though.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's just a number.
It's just a number. Some guys, though, get very tied into that. You know how superstitious baseball players are, too.
Yeah, Brian Jordan, when he came back, I remember that one. He had Freddie Gonzalez, the third base coach, former manager, had his number, and he gave him a Harley for it.
That's bold.
Yeah. He wanted that number.
I guess so. And he wanted a Harley.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's what I would have gone for, but to each their own. Fouled back. Travis d'Arnaud singled back in the 2nd. d'Arnaud, the 10-year vet, with that one catches the corner, and he is down on strikes.
Just your first time down here to the complex. What do you think?
Unbelievable.
Nice, yeah.
I think what amazed me driving up, and you and I talked about it yesterday, is the amount of land that is here.
Yeah, well,
it's not just this park. It's you've got so much stuff around the park that the Braves have access to.
Yeah, Mike Dunn and his crew do a great job here. They're the ones that fed us those big burgers you were talking about.
And everything around here is starting to grow, obviously being over by Orlando for so long and then moving over here, but things are starting to really pop. And it was so nice of you to pick up the Dunkin' Donuts yesterday when we pulled into town.
You know, gotta start you off right.
You know, right? I thought I had my wallet, and then I realized it was in my suitcase. On the ground, diving stop. And Nimnick with a nice play. 1, 2, 3 they go in the bottom of the fourth.
Bally's.
The Braves offense last year, the numbers pretty darn impressive en route to the 5th consecutive NL East title. And the hitting coach for the Braves, Kevin Seitz, are kind enough to join us now. Well, tell you what, Seitz, the guy that I want to lead off by talking about is Matt Olson, another homer. 7 of them now in 34 at-bats. I mean, he seems to be seeing the ball so incredibly well.
Yeah, he's had a great spring. He got off to a really hot start, and he's just been rolling the whole way. So he made some adjustments with his swing this offseason, and, you know, I'm excited about where he's at. I think he's in a good place, you know, having a year under his belt with us and, you know, being back home and just getting acclimated. And he's a pro, man. I just can't say enough great things about him.
Yes. So talking about the pitch clock and all these hitters, and I know you get to hear them all come back. What's been the feedback? They like it? They don't?
No, they like it. I mean, you know, the only negative I would say is when they get to use their one timeout, they step out, and then when they get back in the box, you know, if there's a guy on base, it's 20 seconds. Well, the umpire doesn't start the clock again until they get in the box. So that pitcher, you know, can hold the ball from 20 all the way down to 1 if he wants to. And so the guys are standing there, it seems like, for 10 minutes, and, you know, it's hard to stay engaged. So we're going to come up with a little game plan, you know, if I can get the guys to do it, just to get in the box. But the pitcher can't deliver until the hitter's looking at him, and he doesn't have to look at him until 8. And so we're going to talk about just, you know, not looking at him until they're ready to, and to where they can stay engaged. So for me, that's been the only negative offensively. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the greatest things that we could have ever done, just to keep the game moving.
You always talk about approach. I know you're a big guy. Have an approach when you go up there. It's going to take a little bit of that mid-at-bat adjustment away, though, isn't it? Don't you think? I mean,
a little bit, but, you know, for me, I kind of like it because they just stay engaged on their approach and their plan, and they don't have to. Oh, Ozzie, what a nice play. They don't, you know, they don't spend too much time thinking about mechanics. That's the one thing that drives me crazy. They take time out of the box and they start thinking about mechanics, and they stay engaged on the pitch, focused on the ball, focused on, you know, what they're trying to do. And, you know, I think it's going to help more than hurt.
Well, you talked about kind of the early, how everybody so far that we've spoken with seems like they like it. Have you found that guys early in spring were concerned about it, and now they're not as concerned, and they're like, you know what, I like this too?
No, our guys were great. I mean, right from the beginning, you know, we had a meeting before our first game. You know, I went over all the rules and everything, and I said, look, I go, this is the way it's going to be. They're not changing it, so no complaining. Let's just get used to it and play our game.
And it means that we get to talk to you less because these innings are so darn quick.
That's good.
Thanks so much for the time.
All right, you got it, guys.
See you, bud.
Take care.
Already halfway home in Northport.
That's the camera. Excuse me if I don't talk too much. Sorry about this. Orlando, what do you think about spring training, man, so far?
What?
You hit a homer yesterday.
Really?
Sí. Bueno.
Poquito bueno.
Yeah, Adrianza talking with this man, Orlando Arcia, who did hit the 3-run homer yesterday for Ribbies. And obviously a lot of talk about that shortstop position, Jeff. We discussed the 5th spot in the rotation, but the shortstop position has made a lot of headlines as well, as this one is lined to center and Fama's there.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a big talk coming in. The fact of the matter is you've got to replace Andrew Swanson. As Smith told us, someone's going to play short opening day. Someone's got to be there. And RC's got experience. He's done it with Milwaukee. He's more of a veteran guy. And I think, you know, he's a guy right now that you can trust to do the job and let the other two guys, both Vaughn and Shoemake, go to AAA and get work and continue to play.
Yeah, you mentioned Arcia. It's not like he hasn't started in this league before.
Exactly.
4 seasons as the starter in Milwaukee. The new pitcher, by the way, Nathan Lavender, 3rd pitcher of the game for the Mets, top of the order in Acuna. Skied foul ground. Is there room? There is not. Escobar running out of real estate. And the deal with Shoemake and Grissom, I mean, look, a lot of the fans thought, okay, it's going to be one of those guys. But to your point, I think sometimes what fans may see at home, they don't get to peek behind the curtain as what the coaches and the front office gets to see every day down here in Florida.
And I think too, the fans just see, the small picture where I think the Braves are going to say, it's kind of like I said with Soroka. If Vaughn was to start at shortstop, we don't want him to have to go back down in 3 weeks. Let him get experience. He's young. And I say it all the time. That's why when Michael Harris came up to play center field, it's like that's a premium position. You have got to be able to play good defense, especially with the Braves pitching staff that gets a lot of ground balls. And so I think Vaughn's going to be able to work. And as I said, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, both those guys had good talks with Snit and with Ron Washington. They just said, you keep tracking like you're tracking, but they got to get more reps down in the minors as Acuna will trot down to first base here with 1 out in the 5th. And the red-hot bat of Matt Olson with that 2-run homer in the 3rd that tied us at 2 apiece.
Have too many teams with the 1-2-3 punch of the Braves with Acuna, Olson, and Riley, do you?
Not too bad, right? I mean, just the power and really the speed of this lineup too. And that's the other thing with the rule changes. There's going to be more base running this year, and the Braves are equipped to excel in that category.
Well, I've said it for years. Ronald can steal 40 bags if he wants to, if he needs to, and I think you'll see a little bit more running this year.
And that's where those pitchers obviously have to be very judicious with those 2 disengagements that they give. I mean, there's no more throwing over to first base 5 times in an at bat. And the 2-0 to Olson. And that one clips the corner. And a disengagement is not just throwing over. It's also if he just would step off the rubber after being set. That counts as 1 as well.
Exactly. It's his perfect example right here, Lavender. He's taking that clock all the way down to 2-3 seconds every time. So you can tell he's kind of trained himself how he's going to do it. He's going to use most of his time.
That one swung on, foul tipped into the mid 2-2.
I mean, Schuster, it seemed that he was throwing the ball before you could even say a word.
And I think in normal spring games, they're typically shorter than normal games once the regular season gets going. And that'll be the case. The pace won't always be this quick once the regular season gets going. Average spring game last year was 3:01. Average major league game 3:06. So about a 5-minute difference, and that's what they're thinking will be the case with the games being 25 minutes shorter so far this spring. That you will tack that on to the 3:06 regular season and subtract that time once we get going. That's what they're hoping for. Breaking for second, hit and run, fouled back.
Have your attention, please, on Kennedy Hamilton. Kennedy Hamilton, please report to point assistance. Kennedy is located behind the home plate. Thank you.
This is where you can see the umpire holding his hand before he starts the clock, and now he just started. Ronald was all the way out center field, and I think that's what you're going to see more. Kind of the umpires having to take control of some of that too.
Payoff pitch. And foul back will do it again.
You know, Brian Snicker was telling us they're having a Zoom call tomorrow morning, I think, and they're going to talk about, I think, some of these rules and put little things here and there that, you know, but I think it's been good that they were strict right from the start at camp, because then that's the only way to teach guys.
How about that first Braves-Red Sox game?
Awesome.
3-2 and a pitch clock violation. The game over.
Oh, see, there it is.
Right there.
Twice.
And just like that, Acuna gets to go to second base.
Well, that was his 3rd time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's thrown over twice.
But the violations, they've gone down significantly from week 1, understandably, as these guys get used to the rules. You're not seeing that much at this point in spring, but Lavender with a mistake there. Well, that one came in. Foul tip. 3-2 again. And another payoff here in a 2-2 game at the bottom of the 5th. And another good at bat by Matt Olson. Runners at first and second. Well, let's see who's bringing the lumber. Brought to you by Yellowwood. Austin Riley 2 for 2 so far today. He is bringing the lumber.
Yeah, he was outstanding last year again. Great year in 21 when the Braves won the World Series. But last year he followed up with another huge year. 79 extra base hits. Led the National League.
38 homers, career high. 878 OPS. And he takes a strike here from Lavender.
Heads up.
Inside. 2-1. Austin Riley, 25-year-old who will turn 26 the first week into the season when we're in D.C. Ready for a 2-1 offering. Broken bat. And, well, he almost threw to first at Mindick, and then he realized, wait a second, I can just step on second base and gets a double play. On to the 6, 2-2. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer and by Georgia Natural Gas. Live the greener life. Brandon Gunn, Jeff Francoeur, Kelly Kroll with you. 2-2 as we go to the 6th. Our first of 4 spring training broadcasts before off to D.C. for the opener 1 week from today. Will this youngster be a part of the week 1 rotation? That's still to be determined, but Jared Schuster working into the 6th inning here against what is mostly the Mets opening day lineup. Squaring to bunt, Starling Marte. A low throw, and it eats up Olson. Well, he got off the bunt good, but an errant throw.
Yeah, that's one of those that you have a little more time than you think. Not that he's got all day, but you see he just got it through. And you can see would have had time to set his feet a little bit more. But like anything, he's young. You get excited. You get the ball. You want to make the play. Good job by Olson. Just keep it in front of you, keeping him on first.
And that's where Marte is now. Francisco Lindor 0 for 2. Now Schuster, he and Dylan Dodd have become good friends, and they've been asked a lot over the last week. Now battling for that final spot. And, you know, you've probably been in that spot when you were coming up through the ranks, and you've got buddies that ultimately, Jeff, you are battling with for a position.
Yeah, but I think the good thing for them is it's a healthy battle. They're going to push each other. And look, Sid said it, both these guys are going to get starts at some point this year. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, look out. Into the Mets dugout. Friendly fire.
Did you see him? He looked back at the umpire after that, though, and said, can I get time?
Hey, can I get my bat?
Yeah. Not going to be able to get in there in 8 seconds, buddy.
But you were saying about
it's
pitching rotation.
A healthy thing. I'm sure. You know, you go out, do 5-6 innings, and he wants to come do it tomorrow. And eventually, like you said, it's out of their control. You know, both these guys can pitch well, and they're going to choose one person. But again, that other guy's going to get a start sooner than later. It always happens that way. Let's see. Only 69 pitches here, though, and in the top of the 6th, so.
Yeah, but moving along pretty good. And he's going to take care of Lindor. Trying to scare him over there, Marte. One away. Really, the only blemish was in that 3rd inning when he gave up the walk and the double and then a couple of sac flies.
Yeah, I tell you love that, though, that he comes back and just continues to pound that zone. You know, some young guys might start to shy away, pitch away from contact, but he's continuing to go after those hitters and let them put the ball in play.
So if you add today to what he had done coming in here, I mean, you're looking at 18 innings pitched, 3 runs given up. Pretty good for Schuster. As that one misses to Pete Alonso.
He's got 3 pitches we talked about. What I've been impressed with is him working both parts of the plate today to these hitters. Not just living in, not just living away, but he's doing a good job of not letting them get comfortable in one spot. I said it, you know, a guy continues to come in. Yes, it can help, but if you keep doing it, eventually these hitters are going to cheat a little bit. They're going to open up. And for him, if he does that and starts to see that, then he can go that changeup away. Get a swing and a miss.
Facing the polar bear, Pete Alonso. Alonso, another great year last year, 40 homers, new career high, and runs driven in 131. Tied with Aaron Judge for the most RBI in baseball last year. And Schuster able to get the called strike there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Schuster last year, and we showed you the numbers earlier, but he started in Double-A, Mississippi. He was great. Triple-A Gwinnett, ERA went up a little bit, but still pretty solid over 48 innings there. Now getting his opportunity here with a big club to prove himself. On the ground, diving stop, Albies. Wow, pretty good play. Didn't get 2, but still heck of an effort.
Wow. You see Marte, he doesn't think he was on the base, but I know this. It definitely beat him there, so. Great play. Heck of a play.
Yeah, he was vacating the area quickly, was Arcia, but ruled out at second.
Staying out there, I think Buck's telling him, look, get off the field. It's spring training.
Yeah, that's right. Off the end of the bat, and this should do it for the top of the 6th. Glove up for Arcia. He's got it. Look out. Eddie's there. Braves coming back up. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Georgia Drive Chevy, by Kaiser Permanente, care for all that is you, and by Yellowwood. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. Back here in Northport, on to the bottom of the 6th. New rules, things moving swiftly here in this ball game. 2-2 Braves coming up with the middle part of their order, 4-5-6. That means that since the games are shorter, your check gets cut a little bit,
Does
right?
it really? Is that,
That's what I heard. That's the rumor. Burgers are still on you, though.
Well, if that's the case.
Denny Reyes, 4th pitcher. Mets have gone through 4 of them, and there will be more. Started with Vassell, 3 innings, and now they're getting different guys' work. As Ozuna, 1 for 2, steps in.
I'm looking here thinking if you're a player now, you used to knew your golf was over once you started playing these type games. Well, now, shoot, these guys could still get in 27 homes.
I was going to say 9. You're going 27.
Oh, yeah.
Line drive. Hard hit. And the second hit today for Marcell Ozuna. And he's going to get
2.
into second, yep. And that represents the go-ahead run.
Well, he hasn't disappointed today. That said, he was looking good, showed up in shape, and so 2 balls on the button.
Well, remember, I mean, I know it was 2016, 2017. The guy's a 2-time All-Star. I mean, he's got some talent.
For sure, and he almost won the Triple Crown in 2020.
Yep.
Probably would have been the MVP if it wasn't for Freddie Freeman on his own team.
And 6th in the MVP voting that year. So he's in scoring position. And now Michael Harris fouls that one off, and he's going to have to walk it off.
That's it, too. It's a big piece because if you can have him in that DH spot, it allows you to put your best defense out there. It allows you to let him just concentrate on doing what he's got to do, drive runs. And then if you give him a day, you got Darnell Murphy that you can put in there, and you don't feel like you lose a lot offensively. That's one thing this team's done. We showed you the offensive numbers. Through a 162 season, they're going to beat you down. They're going to put runs out there and in a hurry.
And here's another solid smack to left center, but going over shy of the track, Canada will have it. Allowed out for Michael Harris.
Second baseman number 1, Ozzie Alley.
Thought that ball had a chance to split the gap. It must have got either in on him just a little bit, because you said it. It was loud off the bat.
The wind blowing a little right to left. Maybe carried it towards Canham.
7.
Ozzie's 0 for 2. Fly out and a ground out. That one a little up and in, 1-0.
Oh, yeah. He was so good.
That's the thing for the Braves. One of their advantages is the depth of that lineup. You can score bottom part of the lineup, top part of the lineup.
This one weakly to third. And Ozzie is retired. Ozuna to third. 2 outs. Well, let's see who's bringing the lumber. Brought to you by Yellowwood. As Darno digs in.
See, last season Travis was healthy the whole year. Year before, slowed by some injuries. That bat speed came back last year, and again, to me, he can do that again this year. You keep him healthy, keep those legs fresh, and with the ability, like you said, of 2 great catchers, you can do that.
Started 99 last year. Career high 18 homers, the 7.91 OPS. Well, now getting that tandem, that platoon with Sean Murphy, who we have not seen today. But enjoyed chatting with him yesterday when he was out hitting and we were here. Seems like an awesome guy. One ball, 2 strikes. Potential go-ahead run at third, Marcell Ozuna. Reyes deals. Weakly to short, Lindor up. And across, runner stranded 90 feet from home, and we stay at a 2-2 ball game. On to the 7th.
This is
Welcome back here to Brave Spring Training, presented by Destin Fort Walton Beach. Brandon Gaudin, Jeff Francoeur, Kelly Cruel, and now joining us from downstairs, Jared Schuster. 6 innings in the books, giving up the 2 runs. And Jared, appreciate you joining us. You have obviously had a spectacular spring, and today looked pretty good outside of the little rough patch there in the 3rd. How do you feel, partner?
Yeah, I feel good about it. I battled. I don't know necessarily if I had my best stuff, but happy with the way I made some pitches and some big spots and just battled all the way through.
And just overall, when you come into spring not knowing what to expect, and now you get down to the final week of spring training and you're battling for that 5th spot in the rotation, I mean, what kind of a ride and what kind of a journey has this felt like so far this spring?
Yeah, it's been really awesome. I've learned a lot and really grateful for this experience. yeah, coming into spring, just tried to throw the ball as well as I could, try to show what I can do, and gotten some good results, and really happy with how it's going.
Now, Jared, you worked from AA last year up to AAA, had to make that jump. What are some of the adjustments as you've worked your way up that you feel you've had to do to continue to have the success you're doing?
Yeah, just throw balls more on the plate. Guys don't really chase if it's a ball out of hand when you move up levels, so that's one of the biggest things that's helped me, just throwing more strike to balls instead of pitches that are uncompetitive.
Yeah, one thing I noticed today, you did a great job of working hitters in and out, not getting in a routine. As a right-handed hitter, you keep going away, you allow guys to go out over the plate. Is that something that you've really kind of worked on to do a good job at?
Yeah, for sure. Throwing the ball in definitely helps out my changeup, so being able to do that, it gets hitters off it, and they can't just guess a pitch or stay on one thing. They gotta trust. They gotta be ready for both.
1 out. Tommy Pham is the batter here, as Kirby Yates is your replacement. So, Jared, you know, coming up from the minors, so you had to be used to these pitch clock and all the rule changes and everything. I'm curious, were guys asking you advice as one of the young guys who's gone through that about how to handle this pitch clock?
I mean, a little bit, but I think just getting out there and getting used to it is the best thing for it. I've kind of always worked quick, so it wasn't too much of an adjustment for me, but yeah, just getting experience with it in game, I think, is the biggest thing.
We were talking a little bit about your relationship with Dylan Dodd, and as this one has popped out to right, it'll be 2 away. The whole thing with battling with a guy who, by all accounts, you're good buddies with, and you're going down to possibly compete with for that 5th spot, what has that element of this been like?
I think we both kept a good relationship. I think we're just both focused on throwing the ball well and doing what we can to make it a tough decision. So no hard feelings there. We're both just competing and doing the best we can. So still good buddies.
You know, you come down to a week left. Have you had a blast though this spring and going through this and knowing you're really close?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first big league spring training, so it's been awesome. I've learned a lot. Just being up with these guys and facing these guys has been a dream, so something I've grown up hoping to do. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Big league spreads are a little better too, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, tell us an older guy, one of the pitchers that's been a good mentor for you here this spring.
Yeah, I think just watching how Max Fried goes about it and his routine to get ready for his starts has been really cool to see, and he's a great leader, great teammate. So just watching him and how he does it has been a great experience.
Well, we're enjoying watching you. Good luck the rest of the way, and thanks for the time. Go enjoy that big league spread, all right?
Will do. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, bud. Best of luck, man.
Thank you.
Jared Schuster, 6 strong innings. He's over 18 and just 3 runs given up so far this spring, and now giving way to Kirby Yates. Runner goes to right field. Acuna had it played perfectly. Hey, it's stretch time. Didn't the game just start?
Full circle there, huh? Writing a little letter, and now here you are.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even though I grew up in Indiana, what I said there is true, and you saw the pictures. My first sporting event was 91, Braves Twins Game 5. Braves won 14-5. I could still remember Mark Lemke tripling to right field to empty the bases.
Yep.
And I fell in love with Braves baseball that day, and I always told everybody that one day I wanted to sit in a booth and call Braves baseball. So to say that today is the realization of a dream is an understatement, and I just feel privileged to sit in this chair now and sit next to you as well. Pretty darn good. This one is out to center field. And there's the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, I know this, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. As I said earlier, we got a great crew, and you know, you're going to be a big piece of this, and obviously lead us every night. So I'm excited to have you on here. I know the rest of the crew is, and funny how that note. Sometimes dreams do come true.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I remember writing that note like it was yesterday, and I remember when the reply from Skip came in the mailbox like it was yesterday. Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty special. Couple of flyouts here, one to center, one to right, and now there are 2 outs in the home half of the 7th. And now a quick message from Georgia Drive Chevy.
Chevy Silverado, the #1 selling full-size pickup in the greater Atlanta area. See your local Chevy dealer.
Back to the top of the order. You know, you can't see in here, but Peter Moylan's in here messing with us. And he's got the day off. Go to the beach, Peter. Go to the beach.
Yeah, you know, he's got that Australian skin, burns easy.
At least with you, I don't have to contend with that accent that Peter has,
well,
right? When he's
yes.
on the next 3 broadcasts, I knocked down a few pegs. Two balls and a strike to Acuna. Man, I mean, this, and a lot of the broadcasts have talked about it this year. This is our first one on Bally for the Braves. Look out. But the pace is just unbelievable.
It is incredible. And we said, look, Schuster, he worked faster than most starters are going to.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I can't remember the last time it was an hour and 23 minutes through the 6th inning.
Maybe when Greg Maddux was pitching.
Yeah, I mean, even that, you know. You can tell why all the guys are liking it. Not as much time out here. You get to recover quicker.
That one's back our way.
Our great producer Gretchen Caney's loving it. You know, plenty of time to get stuff in.
Yeah, it makes it nice and easy for the folks in the truck, right? All the sponsored elements.
Maybe now we know why they were late to happy hour yesterday.
Trying to say, how are we going to do this?
They were actually getting ready.
How are we going to fit all this in? Gretchen Caney, Mike Miller, director, our entire crew. Fantastic, and honored to be a part of such a great group. Payoff, and we'll do it again.
This is when you know it's getting towards the end of spring training, too, when you start seeing your starters in there in the 7th, 8th inning getting 4 at-bats.
Start to see some replacements, you would think, here 8th and 9th, right?
Yes.
Out to right center. Reyes with 3 flyouts. 1, 2, 3, bottom of the 7th, on to the 8th. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Reliable Heating and Air. Our word is unbreakable. Time for our game summary, brought to you by Reliable Heating and Air. 2 runs for the Mets, 2 runs for the Braves. Schuster went 6 and gave up 2 in the third. Olsen with a 2-run homer, his 7th of the spring, unbelievably. That was the evener of the ball game in the bottom of the third. And now Lucas Litke is the third Braves pitcher of the afternoon. Litke, a guy who was designated for assignment by the Yankees in December, is a pretty big surprise. Had some success there, and now the Braves the beneficiary, Joe.
Well, look, it's going to be another strength for this team this year is that bullpen. I mean, they have a lot of weapons down there, a lot of guys that throw strikes.
And this strike is hit out to center field.
And I think the one advantage that this team has, and I say this because they have an offense that can come back almost at any time late. We've seen it game after game, year after year. Yeah, when you're up 2 or 3, you got your 7th, 8th, 9 guys you want to go to. But when you're down 2 or 3 and you're in the 6th, 7th, 8th, you have guys that you can bring in that you feel comfortable to keep the game right there and give your offense a chance to add on late and try to get you back in it. And I think that's going to be the thing. They're going to be in most games.
We saw Hilliard out in center field. A lot of changes now for the Braves all over the diamond, as you suspected, as we get to the 8th inning. And, you know, speaking of the bullpen, when you look at the final spot or spot or 2, need to mention for those who haven't heard, Raisel Iglesias, closer, a little bit of an injury. He's going to go 7 days without pitching. Will begin the year on the IL, so that will change things to begin the year for the Braves.
Yeah, you hope that's nothing that's long term, maybe a week, maybe 2, but that's one thing. They got depth down there. Hope it's not long, but they definitely have experience down there. Someone will have to kind of pick up that piece.
For Iglesias, they're calling it low-grade shoulder inflammation as he went around in Marte. And there are 2 outs, and now a quick message from Alpha Insurance.
Hit a home run on your insurance needs with Alpha.
So Litke working quick, as everybody's really been working quickly here. Facing Lindor now with 2 outs and nobody on.
Yeah, the Mets bringing their crew here today. They're driving up, spending the night here and playing the Rays tomorrow in Tropicana Field.
And Buck brought the crew to win.
He did.
He's got the big boys up today. And Lindor taking it downstairs 1 and 2. Litke, he is experienced. He'll turn 36 soon. Made his MLB debut back in 2012 for the Seattle Mariners. The other way, foul.
Yes, like you, I was surprised that the Yankees let him go.
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 seasons, 2.71 ERA and 107 appearances. That's not usually a guy who gets designated for assignment.
No.
But him being a little bit older, I just feel like the Braves have this great blend of old and young.
I'll tell you, it's been that way a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we came up in 05. It was like you had a young guy come up and you also had a veteran guy. And it was a good blend.
Just a hair outside, 2 and 2. Down the right field line, but that one is foul, and we'll do it all over again to Francisco Lindor of the New York Mets. Lindor, third year with the Mets. Solid last year after having those struggles in 2021, but much better last season. 107 driven in. And a battle between he and Lucas Litke. On the ground, this should do it. Adrianza there at short. Across in time. On to the home half of the 8th.
What's on?
Baseball and bowling, they go hand in hand, don't they? You heard us talking about it a little bit earlier, and our Valley Sports crew has been down here in Northport gathering all kinds of unique, fantastic content, including this little feature right here that you can catch on our 2023 Braves season preview show on Valley Sports South and Southeast. Check your local listings for airtime. I know Braves fans, you all have heard and seen just how fantastic Michael Harris is at bowling. We know how great he is in the field. Gentlemen, I'll have you know he might have underestimated just a smidge when he offered to spot me some pins. Really fired me up. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you see that we showed Kelly's one spare.
Oh.
We got the good footage for that.
They had so many to choose from. They just really liked that angle, I guess.
Kelly, I think what I was struck with there was your focus before you went into your motion.
I'm telling you, locked in.
You were all
locked
business.
in.
Yeah.
No, we had so much fun, you guys. Trash talking off the charts. Of course, Vaughn Grissom was there. Darius Vines was there, and you get those three together anywhere, and it's a blast. But on the on the lanes, we had some fun.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to get these guys away from the field, right? See them together, really get an idea as to who they are off the field. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys tune in for that. Lots of good stuff, and our Valley Sports crew has been working really hard on all those features.
Yeah, it's a cool piece, and a lot of cool pieces to your point. Drew Lugbauer getting the at-bat there and grounding out Tiki Orbe. And now you get to the point of the day where you look at your lineup card, and it looks like Jeff after a night in Vegas. It's just scratches and erase marks everywhere. Or New Orleans, either way. This one,
either place, right?
Either place.
Let's be honest. I will tell you, though, this is the best part about spring training, is giving young guys a chance to come up here and do it. We've all been there. We've all had that opportunity, guys that have played, to wear a different number, a high number, but you remember that experience. And honestly, it's great because it gives you motivation to get back here.
Yeah, you get just a taste of it. Geraldo Quintero. Is this one going to stay in play? And the answer is no. He'll have another crack at it.
Yeah, Disney, when we were in the minor leagues, used to have the main field, and then you'd be way back there. And you knew at the national anthem they shoot fireworks off after, and you'd be sitting there in 100 degrees ready to start a game in front of nobody. Whereas the Tigers, like, God, I got to get to that field, man. You could see the top of the stands. You knew there's 10,000 people there.
Oh. Well, that's the thing with this complex. You and I walking around yesterday, seeing some of the minor leagues getting work. It's really unbelievable all that is here. Right down Broadway, and Quintero is down for the second out of the bottom of the 8th. Well, the boys are back at Truist Park for opening week, April 6th through the 12th, against the Padres and the Reds. See full details. Purchase your tickets now. Braves.com/promos. So we start the season on the road, but there's nothing like opening day at your own park and a home opener, and we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, not only that, the Padres.
Yeah.
A team coming in with a lot of great players, too. There's going to be a lot of talent on the field that Thursday night.
Yeah, and obviously the Braves play the Padres, but, you know, now with how the schedule is going to be, and we'll have to put a pin in this conversation, we'll talk about the changes in the schedule when we come back. 3 up, 3 down. Gorgeous day in Florida to sit on the old beach towel, have a drink. So I was rudely interrupted by a quick inning, but here's what I was trying to say is that you're going to see a lot of teams this year with the schedule changes, and it is balance. You see what you're going to do in the division. I mean, there's some big changes here that maybe are being overlooked because of the rule changes, Jeff.
Yeah, there is, and I do love it, though. I love that, for the most part, outside your division, everybody's playing the same schedule. You're playing the same teams, either there or away in the American League, and I think it's going to be good. You're going to see a few more of the superstars come to your town. Ohtani, you get a chance to see him at least every other year. Like I said, more balanced schedule, I think.
But I think Major League Baseball, look, they're trying to cater it to the fan. That was the impetus for the rule changes, and I think that's the impetus for, like you said, having all these stars and players come to your town.
No, and I think the players understand it. Quite frankly, the fans are the ones that come to the game, pay the salaries, and do that. So ultimately, like I said, I love that you heard Kevin Seitzer talk about the hit. Whether you like it or not, this is the rules. So you might as well buy into it.
A.J. Minter now pitching as he faces Pete Alonso to start the night. And you saw on the schedule as well the designated rival, and for the Braves that is the Red Sox. Foul tip.
And I think A.J. Minter, this is going to be one guy we talk about that might, have to make some adjustments with how fast he's going to have to work. He's very meticulous, likes to take his time out there, and I think, he's a guy that you're going to have to keep an eye on. think they'll make an adjustment, but it might take a little bit longer than you're used to.
One and two, good pitch there. And they'll have to throw down, no problem. And Alonso is 0 for 4. Here it is.
Yeah, and you can see all the way down at the bottom.
Yeah.
5 seconds longer than Max Fried. So, you know, maybe with nobody on, it's not that big of a deal. But I think when guys get on, but that's where, you know, Snit was also telling me we want those guys. We don't have to use mound visits early in the season. Let's save them for early in the game. Let's save them for later in the game. Or if he needs a breather, you know, catcher can go out there and see him.
What about what some people have said on the question of will this create more arm fatigue for a hitter like Minter who is forced to work quicker? Do you think there's anything to that?
Not a reliever. They're pitching one inning, right? I mean, you'd like to believe they have the ability, you know, and I think AJ's said it best. I got to make the adjustment. You know, I'm good enough to do it, and I'll be able to do it.
Well, he now is all of a sudden the elder statesman of the bullpen as this one is lifted out to left center. And there's going to be 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. Well, interested in 2024 season tickets? Join the new wait list. Visit Braves.com/waitlist. Learn more. Secure your spot for the hottest ticket in town. Good crowd today. A lot of them here throughout the spring in Northport. We've been treated to a spectacular day, not too hot, right around 80 degrees, abundant sunshine. Big swing and a foul back. Look at Daniel Vogelbach.
Yeah, Mets fans fell in love with him pretty quick last year. And you look at him and you know he's up there to do one thing.
Mash.
Damage.
Yeah, he is a powerful man as that misses outside 1-1. Had it at the trade deadline last year, and he was immediately a fan favorite.
Ooh, good pitch.
Yeah, just missed. Another good pitch. That one drops right in there, and the count even. Looks like AJ, though, is right now at least in a pretty good rhythm with his pitch clock.
I agree.
Well, just as we say that, he steps on. Oh, they're going to add a ball here to make it 3-2.
He stepped off and didn't really care.
All right, I'll take the full count, and let's try it here. 3-2 now. And he got him anyway. Take that. Blows the heat by him. On to the bottom of the ninth. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Visit Mississippi. Good times are close by. And by Synovus, the bank that helps you get there. All the runs coming in the third, and now we go to the bottom of the ninth with the Braves coming up. Braves 2023 promotional calendar includes over 20 giveaways with bobbleheads featuring A.J. Minter, Matt Olson, and Outcast. Check out the full list. Purchase tickets, Braves.com/promos. Have you seen those Outcast bobbleheads, by the way?
I have not.
You need to. You need to get your eyes on those. Yeah. Sorry, Miss Jackson, but they're fantastic. I'll see myself out now. On to the bottom of the ninth.
You can sneak it in. 2 hours and 3 minutes going to the bottom of the ninth.
My goodness. And if you weren't flying back to Atlanta tonight, the clubs would be ready, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You told me you're a one handicap?
Yeah.
I think I got to see that to believe it.
Yeah, we're going to play.
I can tell you that I'm not.
Opportunities.
I'm like a 20 handicap, but
you know,
I have a great time.
We need to get that down a little bit.
We do.
Speed on play like this.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to need a pitch clock on my driver. I can tell you that much for free. Swing and a miss to start the bottom of the ninth in a 2-2 game. So this is Sam Hilliard, one of the outfielders, and getting some late action. Hilliard's an interesting guy. You talked about earlier, Jeff, with a lot of these guys, how having options and not having options sometimes can determine whether or not you make a roster.
100%, especially when you get to that 24th, 25th, 26th spot on the team. I didn't realize how big he was.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Holy smokes. I went down and saw him this morning, and good size.
So essentially, if you're wondering about options, he doesn't have minor league options. So the Braves would have to clear him through waivers to send him to the minors, and that's a scary proposition. You don't want to lose that guy. Whereas Jordan Luplow, Eli White, they both have minor league options.
Exactly. Happens to every team every year.
But it always creates for the front office an interesting game of chess.
Well, and I think that's where, you know, how important is this piece? Is he a starter? Is he can play for us every day, you know?
And 2-2, Hilliard cut on and miss late. One out in the ninth.
And two guys like Eli White stuff, you know, you kind of want them playing still all the time, you know, where Sam is used to a little more of his role, and you feel like he can do a good job at it.
Yeah, Eli White, Jordan Luplow, they were optioned to AAA for those who haven't been keeping up with it. That leaves Kevin Pillar and Hilliard as kind of the fourth outfield candidates for the Braves. Well, we quickly have two outs here in the bottom of the ninth as Waddell grounds out to second.
Catcher number 58, Armin Paps.
To see if they're going to play one extra inning or not.
That's what's great about spring. Just got to make your own rules, right?
That was great. It was a couple weeks ago, the bottom of the ninth, the Pirates and somebody played, and the umpires walked off the field because the game was officially over, and they just pitched the inning. Did you see
keep
that?
playing,
You saw that. That was great.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Arden Paps is the batter. One of the Braves extras here, kind of dress additions for the roster today. Now this one's going to stay in play down the right field line, and it is caught. 3 outs in the bottom of the ninth. This is where you look at the managers. Are we going? Or are we staying? What are we doing? Buck and Snit make a decision. Should be playing the Jeopardy music right now.
I think they're done.
That's it. 2-2. This won't happen a week from now, I promise, but it's a tie in spring training.
2 hours and 7 minutes.
2 hours and 7 minutes, and a 2-2 tie ball game with all 4 runs coming in the 3rd inning. Welcome to pitch clock baseball. Wow.
Our next home game is Saturday. It is a 1:05 p.m. start.
And our first spring training game on Valley Sports for the Braves is in the books. Great to get the party started. Partner enjoyed it.
Yeah, good time.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a little more time next week.
Absolutely. Jeff Francoeur, Kelly Krill for our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. We'll have another one in a couple of days from now, like you just saw. 3 more, and then opening day in 1 week. Braves baseball on Valley Sports. So long, everybody.